Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's Lair. I am your host, Larry the Chupacabra, and it's time for something that I haven't done in forever, and that is check out a delectable early access game. In fact, a game that I had been keeping my eye on, sort of off and on, since around this time last year. About the time I was starting to look into Spark Rising, I was investigating pretty much any sort of voxely inspirational game that I could get my hands on as something that might be interesting to play. And, Oort Online might just offer us some of that in the near, maybe distant future. Nearish distant future, we'll coin that phrase. And, as you might look around, it might look an awful lot like modded Minecraft with some cool shader effects and particles. It just happens to run a whole heck of a lot better, because Minecraft and cool shader mods have never always been the best optimized thing. But, no, this is essentially what Oort Online is going to look a lot like. You've got these, cool textures that kind of, they have the voxely kind of thing going on where everything is kind of set up in a cube. But you also might notice that everything's got its own polygons, with, like, all the dirt and the gravel here and the grass. It kind of looks wibbly-wobbly until you start to get to some of the more refined materials like these bricks or this wood. And that's pretty much the crux of the similarities. I mean, you could say any game that has a voxel aesthetic is very Minecraft-ish, and Minecraft certainly wasn't the first to do that. But, the thing that Oort Online eventually wants to do is be sort of, a continuous and, persistent world in which you can sort of do Minecraft-related adventures in a sandboxy environment with a bunch of people, but also have it be very MMO RPG. And that would mean that this is kind of like World of Warcraft, or EverQuest, or Rift, or Guild Wars 2, any of the sort of MMOs that you really want to shake a stick at. And I kind of like the idea of that. For right now, really all we've got is a lovely sort of environment that looks really pretty that you can go exploring, and just some basic creative mode stuff, like I can grab all of these basic materials that you start out with, and I can build like a shack or a cottage or what have you, and also gather up some other resources that I don't necessarily spawn with in order to make a unique house. I brought myself over here to this lovely deserted island and built myself a tree shack using some pink tree leaves. It's either pink or green. I was looking for blue, but I didn't exactly get that, even though I really wanted some. And then I built myself a lovely shack up here on top of this cliff, overlooking this lovely bay area. And as it starts to getting to dusk, we're actually going to show you one of the cool things that helps you kind of get around, because I don't know if you can see this or not, but Oort Online has got a lot of cliffs, Get a lot of cliffs, not always easy to get up those cliffs. Handy we have a grappling hook, eh? Yeah, grappling hook. I always enjoy swishing around through the air without a care in the world, just as I'm about to get hit in the face by a ton of rocks. And that, once I kind of figured out the grappling hook, exploring this game became both a whole heck of a lot easier and more enjoyable. And here you can see a close-up of my lovely tree hut. Because I was building the roof to it, and I was just like, you know what? A regular roof would be super boring, but you know what would be slightly less boring and slightly just weird is if you just put together a tree in the middle. Unfortunately, I can't grow the big swanky trees that you might be able to see in the distance, like there's one over there, and there's a bunch over there, that's the direction of spawn. But I can fake it pretty well, I think, with these janky logs that kind of swizzle around. But we're going to take the next leg of our adventure to a town, or at least the starts of a town, that you might begin your adventures in. Because what is an MMORPG sandbox without a town full of creepy people? Or an empty town that will eventually be full of creepy people. We'll just open up our exit menu, and we'll just say, hey, let's spawn over there at the capital. And, whoosh, here we are. In, kind Hello. There's another person. Currently, all of our people, as I hit C to kind of, jump out here. Hey there, buddy. We'll just take a little look-see around here. This is the capital, or at least the capital of the server that I'm on. And this is like it basically looks like a really elaborate, lavish, player-built town in a server on Minecraft. Like the Seven Kingdom server that I used to build outhouses on. It's a story for another day. And eventually in this town, you'll be able to go into these buildings and meet up with the very, like, sort of troll monkey-looking characters. I was actually here earlier. I was the one that tore this hole in the floor. And eventually you'll be able to explore and talk to NPCs and potentially get quests or missions or what have you in order to go out into the world and explore. Currently, though, you know, this is an early access game. They have a lot of plans, but, you know, it takes time to develop these. But for as far as engines go, this is very solid, and this is pretty much everything you would have seen in the trailers, basically. You know, you can grapple hook around, you can see other people building in an open world that has gotten me stuck on an edge. And you can go exploring, finding weird, various materials. That said, there is not a whole heck of a lot to do. You can explore, you can fidget with the different terrain, you can see what is to be seen, and go about your merry way. As I lazily grapple hook back to where I want to be, because we're going to go around this big, cool, spiraling teleportation tower thingy that goes between dimensions, and we're going to go out and explore a little bit before we take off. So no, I really liked this. The trailer showed like there's going to be all kinds of environments, you know, forests, mountains, lagoons and swamps. And it's also going to have, like, weird portals and stuff. And this is really what I was looking for when I was playing Trove several months ago. Trove was going to be, like, this open-world, adventure-y Minecraft thing that had, like, dungeons and stuff. And it, you know, it kind of was that, but it was that in a very cartoony way that was kind of goofy and gimmicky. And it's not bad, and I don't dislike Trove. It just wasn't what I was exactly wanting. And so here we've got somebody built... I don't know if did someone build this? There's this lovely blue glowy thing out here with all of these torches. We'll actually grab out our torch and we'll just go explore in the nighttime. Oh, there's a little path too. Griefing is definitely gonna be an issue. So they're going to need some type of, like, protection that you can put on your house. Maybe instead of having a rigid machine system, like in EverQuest Next Landmark or any Minecraft mods you've ever seen, maybe you can just get some basic spells, because there's this little blue bar in the lower right hand here, I think is magic, and you can use it to protect, like, a certain incised area from people messing with it. And then maybe if you don't log in for a certain amount of time, then you're gonna lose that protection. I don't know, but they're gonna need to address that somehow, because in a world where anyone can come in and fiddle with stuff, I guarantee you someone's gonna break everything. Like, in the first 5 minutes of being on the server, they're gonna come in and start fondling any old house they can get to, and we're actually gonna skip to when we're over there. I'll ramble in between in case I don't want to skip after all. But really what you do right now is you can go around seeing some of these trees overhead, and I'll actually get this grappling hook out and see if I can't expedite this trip. Yeah, I won't have to skip after all. We'll be able to just grappling hook our way to adventure. Yeah, this will work real nice. We're going to have to deal with that. They're going to have to make some way of making this persistent world fairly large and having some elements of randomness. So that means you're going to have some areas that persist, that you will always have, like, your house in this region. And then you're always going to have some areas that can change. And I think that's where these crazy portals, and I'll start putting them up on the screen as I talk about it, some of these crazy portals that seem to go through time and space to other dimensions, similar to Trove, but it's almost like you're in the same place, just like a dark, eerie, corrupted, sinister version of the place. You know what I mean? And the other thing that I'm sure you've noticed is, unlike a lot of other voxel games that you've played or I've played or you've seen on the internet, this game has got a lot of polygon sort of stuff. Like, everything isn't a set-in-stone sort of voxel environment. And look at that thing in the distance. Is that... Oh, that's that spawn tower. There's some sort of spawn protection shield over it that you see there glowing in the distance. So that, I think, is how you're going to have randomly spawned areas in and around the more persistent areas, using those portals. And there's a whole bunch of stuff we don't even know yet, because, I mean, we've seen some of the trailer, and I've read some of what they want to do with the MMORPG stuff, but there's just no way of telling. And this guy, whoever built this house, did a nice job of taking some of this dirt and turning it into an angled roof. I don't actually know how to do that. That's why I used leaves on my roof to make it interesting. But if you can figure out this angle block business, more power to you, man. And funny enough, when I first spawned in here, there was like this glowing dock out in the water, and someone had made a house up in the leaves, and you could slide down off their house onto this dock and then grapple hook your way back up using similar platforms that I had set up to grapple at my house. Let's see here. So here's a canopy. You can see some of this cool red stuff. Isn't this neat? And so, who makes Oort Online? Well, Oort Online is made by Wonderstruck Games. That's the publisher and developer. And Wonderstruck is made up of a bunch of industry veterans. I think they've worked for a whole slew of people from Rockstar to Activision all over the place. And they decided that they wanted to make a really cool voxel game that they themselves would really enjoy playing. And there's something blue over there I want to go explore. But first, we're going to go up onto this cool hill here. So this game, it's eventually going to become open world, sandboxy, RPG. There's going to be dungeons, quests, missions, and lots of animals and stuff that you can wander around and murder in the environment. You know, monsters that spawn, skeletons that want to eat your insides. Maybe not skeletons, but some type of critter that fit the sort of faux monkey monster appeal of your character. And I'll just throw up a picture of what they think they're going to be making up on the screen. Oh, that guy's got a nerd pole castle. Look at that. And there you're eventually going to be able to go out and explore in a very RPG, open-world fashion, much like what you might expect to find from, like, Skyrim or a game like that, maybe like Fallout. And just wander around doing stuff, finding towns to interact with, crafting stuff, building materials, and whatnot. Currently, you know, you don't have that stuff, but this is a solid engine that you can fart around in if you pick the game up in early access right now. Or if you want to wait, don't you worry. Larry has purchased this game, and he's going to be playing this at each stage of its overall development as it does stuff, and eventually when it gets fully published. Now, this is a cool house. Nice job, whoever made this on the Leb server, the US West Leb server, LLEB. And if you can find my house, feel free to grief the shit out of it, I have decided. It took me less like 10 minutes to build the thing, so whatever. Easy come, easy go. But eventually they're going to have to figure out something to do with the potential for griefing and having a persistent world full of random player creations. And speaking of that, I don't know if you guys ever played Rust, but there was a pretty classic way that you could grief people in Rust, which was you could take the building materials and the columns were indestructible unless you were a moderator, and you could just plunk those down wherever you diddly-dang pleased and use that to grief people. Because players couldn't naturally do anything about it or do anything with it. Oh, this guy's got more of these glowy green or blue blocks. I see. Where do you guys get these things? Because you must have to mine these. Alright, that's for Larry now. So I've gotten 2 new items that I can build with, and I am keeping them. Once you get one of something in this game, you don't start with all the items, but once you get one of something, like one of this flower, You can then place as many of them as you want, so long as you've got room in your inventory. And I guess that flower didn't count as a block I can place. So let's see if we can't go visit this guy's house down here before we leave off with our Oort adventure for right now. So I guess the question is, Larry, do you recommend that we purchase this game right now? You know, for what it is right now, I feel that $40 is a tiddly bit steep. I'll be honest with you. But, it's not completely outrageous, I wouldn't say. However, right now, really all you've got to do is wander around and build stuff. But that will quickly change, I think. Kind of looking at what the company plans and sort of the direction they've been going and how complete this sort of prototype environment is, I think it's a pretty safe assumption to say that they will probably be continuing to do quite a bit of work on this game. So if you can get it on a sale, on a slight sale, I would say go for it. But would I go out immediately and do this? Maybe not. I mean, you can just watch old Larry play this off and on, having some adventures, exploring some of the environments. But if you're dully down to clown with a very early access game and watch as it shapes up, I would certainly say yeah. I'd definitely jumped on board. Because I was looking for games like this following Spark Rising, because voxel art is really cool, and it's interesting to see what people end up doing with it. Wonder whose house this is. This is a very interesting island house. Housey thingy-jigger. Of course, the water is very realistic. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool package. So I've been your host, Larry the Chupacabra. The links, if you want to check this game out on Steam, are in the description, as well as links to the developer website so you can check them out and kind of do your own little research and see what kind of people they are. And I'll catch you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this little premiere or preview or showcase thingy-jigger for Oort Online, and I'll be playing some more of this as they start to add stuff. And I'll be exploring some of the weird environments and weird buildings people have made. And, post some more videos. So if that's what you're into, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. It's not really that often that I get a chance to post on a Saturday. I'm usually really busy over the weekend. I don't take a lot of days off. So, till next time, guys. Have a good one. Bye.